Thomas, Andrea. Got some new faces and some familiar ones. I love it. We got more trying to come in. We got someone who's been stuck in connecting for a while. This is why I always give 5 minutes after because, man, I swear, sometimes with Zoom, and I don't even know if it's them or Zoom. Like, I don't even know. Good morning, guys. Hey,
Well,
icebreaker question for you. How many of you have gotten, we won't even say listings, just leads from videos that you have done on social media, whether it was a selfie, whether it was a aerial drone video of a listing. Like, how many of you have gotten leads from videos that you've posted on social media? It doesn't even have to be that it was a real estate related video. Maybe you made a quirky, funny dance video. I'm just curious how many of you drop in the chat have gotten leads, real estate leads from videos you put on social media. Put them in the chat. I'm curious. Michelle, there we go. What type of video, Michelle? Let me know. We got more people coming in. Welcome, everybody. I see people typing. I love it. I have, by the way, I should have answered that myself. I have definitely, um, and the videos usually were very simple videos. Uh, Usually it was typically like I was showing, I did a lot of videos for new construction. And in those new construction videos, I was always showing like, here's this new construction, and they've got these incentives. Here's the floor plan. Here's what you could do with that floor plan. Like I knew my target audience pretty well. Like who was the most likely person to buy this house? And then I would go into Facebook groups and everywhere I could and share that video and also send it directly to like my database of anybody that I thought would work for that. And that actually worked really well for me. Really, really, really well. Let's see. Okay, great. We got some. Thomas gotten a referral from a client after they had bought the property in the video. Sweet. That's still pretty cool, man. Like, I love that got that, Thomas. Michelle, funny acting video with your daughter, and a random person reached out saying, "You look fun." I mean, personality, right? You're the kind of person I want to work with. I like that. No, but I also have not done video content. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to get leads from videos without the video part of it. Laura, no, but have made a few videos. Okay, I like it. I like it. We got more people coming in. Thank you everybody for being here. The question in the chat was how many of you have made videos, any type of video, put it on social media and got a lead from it? That's the big question. That's the big question. I don't care what type, real estate or not. I just want to know, have you done a video? And if you have you gotten any leads from it? Could be long form YouTube videos. Again, don't care. Obviously today we're going to be hyper focused, but it's fun to know kind of what people are doing. Nick, that blue background, by the way, that you have, is it on your chair or is it on the wall?
no, it's just the wall. Yeah, it's just shiplap, like, you know, siding kind of material, and then there's a light shining on it.
I like it. I had,
Yeah.
before I had this background, I literally strapped LED lights to the back of my chair to
Oh,
create
yeah.
like the glow behind me.
Yeah. I mean, same difference. I just have a little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little tripod just
Okay,
sitting on the
yep,
floor
yep.
back there, and same effect. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, Carrie, not yet, but ready. That's right. You are ready. I know. I know you got this. This is going to be awesome. Today's going to help a lot. I'm super excited. Okay, it's five after. You guys know we're really punctual. We value our time. We value your time. So we're just going to get right into it. The three-part script formula that gets listings fast, even if you hate video. How's that? Also, you guys missed out. I'm so sad. I had like a little cool hand-drawn sold image here, and literally today, it just wouldn't appear. Like it's there, and it wouldn't appear. So if you feel like something's missing, something is missing right here. All right. So let's get into it. What if you could turn one short video you can shoot on your phone into your next listing using a script you generate in about 60 seconds? I've tested this. Nick and I have tested this actually live together. We were also going through the process with free AI. I like to emphasize that too, because sometimes you hear these tools and they're like, it's so easy. And then they're like, but the tool itself is like $1,500. And you're like,
Hmm.
that actually isn't so easy when there's a super high cost, right? So I want you to drop a camera emoji in the chat if that is what you would like. I want to see a whole bunch of camera emojis. Andrea can't talk today, sharing an office. Oh, yeah, they are loud. No worries, Andrea. There we go. Look at all those cameras. Laura, you just type in camera. You said, I ain't going to look for the emoji. I'll just type the camera. There we go. There we go. All right. So that's pretty good then, because that's what we're doing today. So this is for you if you've posted videos before, but never got a single lead or listing from them. Okay. I know some of you deeply resonate with that, right? You feel overwhelmed by video, scripting, or editing, and you need something simple that actually works. You want a repeatable, fast system to attract sellers through video, but not just to get views. Okay, views is the wrong target, but we're taught to seek the mass audience rather than the select. And then, of course, you've watched other agents. This one hits home for me. You've watched other agents succeed with videos and thought, what's wrong with me? Ugh. Anybody relate to that? What's wrong with me? So, as always, guys, this is a distraction free zone. We turn on our video because we are a community. We are attention driven and focused. No distractions. That means you're going to have to probably put down the phone. You're going to have to probably put something away. But come on, let's be real. You didn't show up here to not pay attention. You wouldn't be here in the first place. You saw something valuable. Get the most out of this. Participate. You guys know our calls are unique. We are highly engaged, highly interactive. You're going to leave here actually accomplishing something. And then, of course, share. We believe in sharing with others, takeaways, things that you've learned, sharing what you've actually went out there and done. I tested it out, and here's what happened. We just believe in that. And so, without that being going on there, first step, okay? First step is going to be just picking your AI, okay? That's step one. It's simple, it's easy. So you'll need to use AI to accomplish this. The whole point is that we're helping you to be more efficient and more effective, right? There are many different ones. I want you to choose your favorite, or if you really want to, if you like AI, you can experiment with them all. What we're going to teach you today, you could go and run through every AI and find the one that writes or connects to you in the right way. This is all about developing your system. But for today, everything is based off of using ChatGPT, and it can even be the free version. We've tested this out on the free version. Of course, you have higher levels you can upgrade to, but we're not asking you to do that today. Don't open it yet. Okay. We all know what happens when we open up another app. We get distracted. So we're not opening up ChatGPT yet, but we're just telling you where you're going to end up. We're going to do that later in the breakout room. Okay. So I'm curious though, before I get an insight from Nick, I'm curious for everybody here in the call. How many of you have ever used ChatGPT before? Drop it in the chat. Tell me if you've used ChatGPT before. Bonnie says yes. Andrea, yes. Big one. Joshua, Daly, Deb, yes. Rosa, I have. Kathy, yes. Desiree, I have, but minimal. That's about to change, Desiree. Trust me. Oh my gosh. Guys, Nick and I could go, we could probably do hundreds of weekly calls just around what you can do with AI. It would be endless. Laura, many times. Lisa, Bonnie, I love Gemini though. I like it. I like it. That's right. You got to find what works for you. That's right. Chris, 100%. Proud of you, Chris. Proud of you. Proud of you, man. Traded in that toaster, upgraded to ChatGPT. This way. Michelle Daly. All right, guys, this is awesome. This is great too. It's nice to know that you're relatively familiar and you know even what ChatGPT is. So good job for being ahead of a lot of agents who still don't even know what that is. Okay. So my question for you, Nick, is What do you think is the biggest misconception agents have about AI?
Yeah, I think misconception wise, I think it would be sort of an over reliance on AI understanding what you want from it. I think that's where a lot of people are kind of mistaken currently. And it's getting better. And to be honest, like every couple weeks, these things change because the tools are advancing so fast. And, what we think they can do a few weeks later is totally different. So I think the biggest misconception, though, is just basically thinking you're going to get something good without still doing any work, right? So we want to give you a shortcut
Mm,
today. We got a nice prompt kind of pre-written for you. But that's what I see the most is somebody kind of goes into ChatGPT and they're like, "Hey, write me a listing description. Here's the address. There's 3 beds, 2 baths. Go." And those kinds of things, you want to give it more input. You want to be more specific. Typically the more detail that you're giving, the better response you're going to get. So
mm.
when it comes to picking which tool you're going to use, or when it comes to getting the results you want, like I find that's probably the biggest thing is that, I tried it once or twice, I didn't get what I wanted, and it's either gotten better since then, or you just need to be more specific with the way you're talking to it.
Dude, that's a great observation. I definitely would agree with you. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. It's like what I use an amazing VA. She's actually here on the call right now, Misa. And everybody thinks I'm just gonna hire a VA and I literally won't have to do anything in my business anymore except, go show homes and write contracts. And it's like,
Right.
do you not understand like how this works? Like you're still the leader, you still have to do the job, you still have to lead, direct, coach, train and that becomes more and more true over time, you know. So I
Oh
love it,
yeah.
man. I love it. All right, so let's because I got a question for everyone. We're gonna get into this, but I kind of wanted to gauge where everyone is at. What do you all think are the three essential parts pretty much every good script has to have? Just like simple words, bullet points, right? Just answer it any way that you feel led to. Maybe you're saying like it's a script and that script needs to have X, Y, and Z. Joshua Hook intro ask. Nice, nice. I like it. Joshua does a lot on YouTube, by the way, Nick. We actually know Joshua. He works hard on YouTube, so we love it. Desiree, warmth, inviting, call to action. I like the warmth, Desiree. That's a great. If it feels cold, I mean, it's going to be a harder sell, if you will. Kathleen, opening, greeting, yeah. Hook, something engaging, a call to action. There we go. Some of you guys aren't new to this. I like it. I like it. Hook, call to action. I don't know another one. These are great, guys. I'm proud of you all. You know that? I'm so proud of you guys. Getting them to watch it all. Or is it getting it to watch it all, like the whole video, Carrie? Is that what you mean? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good one too. Open-ended questions. All right, this is good, guys. So before we get into actually what to do, I want to always provide the proof, the evidence, or at the least the bullet points of why seller-focused videos. Okay? So let's just give you a couple ones to think about. They stand out where it matters. While others are chasing TikTok trends and viral dances, the videos we're helping you today are going to speak directly to the people who actually own homes and might want to sell them. So again, I'm not saying those other videos are bad. I'm not saying that. No, no, no. I'm saying why are we doing these particular types of videos, right? Builds real trust. So a short face-to-face camera video feels human. It shows you're the kind of person someone could talk to. You're not a stock photo, you're not a tagline, you're not a Canva template. You're a real person, right? It works while you sleep. This is one of the things I love most about all content, right? Is it works while you sleep. Once made, your video can be seen forever, shared on platforms, sent directly to leads, and just numerous other ways that you can use video. It's incredibly powerful. And then it positions you as the expert. When you're the one educating sellers, not just selling to them, you become the agent they want to work with before they even meet you. Okay. And I know some of you have done videos before. I have also done videos before. And I can personally attest that when you build those videos and people are watching them and engaging them, they decide before they ever sign on the dotted line that you're their agent. They've decided long before. I've had people who have literally seen my content online reached out to me and said, "You're the agent." And I'm like, "I don't even know who you are, but awesome." Right? So this isn't about going viral. Let's change our focus. Let's change our target. It's about being visible and turning that visibility into real conversations that lead to listings. Okay? All right. So Nick, question for you. What's one of your favorite parts about AI for creating video scripts?
Yeah, well, I mean, it saves you a lot of the hassle. I think that reality is, I think most real estate agents, if you kind of gave them a topic and stuck a camera in their face and forced them to say a few intelligent things about that topic, they could probably do it. I mean, we're usually talking on things that are our bread and butter, kind of the standard stuff. But there's all these different reasons that we kind of have our confidence undercut, and so I think AI just removes some of the procrastination, so it's not so much that you couldn't write your own script if you really wanted to, but by being able to sort of sit down, number one is get it done quickly, right? So the first time you do it, there's a little bit back and forth, maybe some prompt setup. But if you keep using that same account and that same chat, it remembers that information. And so the next time you talk to it, you just sort of say, hey, I need a script for this. And typically it'll give you a pretty quality script right off the bat. So it saves the time, the hassle, all that kind of stuff. But I think that's the biggest thing, right? Is that it's just removing one of the usually many reasons that we give ourselves for why video is not accessible, why we can't get to it this week. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have time for it, right? So I love the fact that it just eliminates excuses. That's what I spend a lot of my time doing is helping people eliminate their excuses. And I think AI helps in that regard, maybe more than any other tool we have.
What's the old stat or saying? It takes X amount of hours to become a master of something. It's like 1,000 or 10,000, right? It's like,
Yeah, I think it
right?
might be 10,000. Yeah.
What I was talking to my wife about the yesterday because I also write books. I use AI all day, every day, and it's essentially what it does is it compounds and compacts and condenses the 10,000 hours so
Hmm.
significantly because instead of me writing out each draft, working through them being garbage, trying again, tweaking this, I can do it in seconds with AI. And it might have taken me minutes, hours, days, weeks. And so I can
Mhm.
condense 10,000 hours instead of that being over 10 years, right? I can condense it down literally, guys, into almost a week, depending on how much time you put into it. It's insane. Blows me away, man. All right. So
Great.
let's understand scripts now. Every good script has core elements that help it to produce results. So the three key parts of a high converting script are pretty straightforward. Number one is the hook. Pretty much all of you understood this. And that's really awesome. That shows that you're in tune, you're in touch with the reality of we have to hook people, right? So I'm proud of you guys. Seriously, that's a big deal. People just don't get it. So the first 3 seconds must be attention grabbing, but relevant. Because remember, these are seller focused videos. So it's not just about views. If it was just about views, fine. Go with the craziest, wildest hooks ever. You guys have seen them all the time. But this is attracting a very specific demographic. So it needs to be engaging and relevant. Okay. So it's not, and then if it's not clear in the first 3 seconds why they should watch the video, then they won't. That's just a very simple thing, right, guys? It is a harsh reality, but it is 100% true. If they can't figure out in 3 seconds why they should watch this video, then they won't. They will literally just swipe. That's it. Because guess what, guys? You all do that. How many videos do you go through and you're like, weird. Go. Next, 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 next. We don't want that to happen to you. Okay. So this is honestly, and Nick, I want your thoughts on this too, but in my opinion, this is where most videos fail. Even though it's arguably the most critical part. Even Mr. Beast, the number one YouTuber and honestly content creator in the world, says if he can just nail the intro, he's almost guaranteed to get you to reach the end of the video. He just has to get, for him, I think it's a minute. So it's 7 seconds and then a minute. He needs to nail the first 7 seconds and then the first minute. And if he can do that, you'll watch 45 minutes. He's proven this 45-minute long video in a low attention span world. You guys follow that? So, Nick, what do you think? Would you say the hook?
Yeah, well, the hook. I mean, they don't. If the hook doesn't get them, they don't. The rest of the video doesn't matter, right? So, I mean, it's the one part of the video everybody sees. It's also, I think a lot of folks, there's multiple things you want to accomplish in the first few seconds, and I think one of those is you just want people to see you. Because even if somebody scrolls past the video, like as long as I see your face and I'm reminded that you exist and it reminds me that you're a real person, like there's parts of our brains that are dedicated just to recognizing human faces. So I think that's another part of it, right? Is like, if you're tempted to put an intro slide or, put something else on screen in those first few seconds, like remember, even just them seeing your face is super, super valuable. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the first 3 seconds, I mean, again, because like you're saying, it's very true. Like we're not trying to be influencers. You got to be really careful when you take advice from influencers because they literally have a different job than you have. So
Mm-hmm.
assuming you're trying to be a successful real estate agent, that first few seconds making it super abundantly clear what the video is about means that the people who are curious about that topic are way more likely to watch more or all of the video, and the people who aren't will ignore it. And that's what you want because that's where the algorithm starts to work in your favor and it finds
Yep.
more of the right people. So if you mess that up and even if your hook is engaging but it's unclear what the video is about and you're just sort of sparking general curiosity, that won't tell the algorithm who to find for you, right? So the more
Mm-hmm.
specific you are, the more intentional you are about, this is exactly what you're going to get in the next minute. That's gonna, even if you get low views, like you could put a video out that gets 50 or 100 views, but if they're all people thinking about selling a house, like that's way more valuable than 100,000 views just from a
That's right.
random audience, right?
That's right. I love it, dude. I'm gonna give you guys a quick example of an awesome hook that Nick and I did when we did our initial call on this. So, why do some homes take 6 months to sell while others sell in a day? It's a great hook. It's a great hook. And I just kind of want to share with you examples. Don't worry. We're actually going to have an example video. We're going to have slides. We're going to have additional resources. You guys know we jam pack the newsletter so much, but I just wanted you to see a quick example because you hear hook, right? And the power of this is so much. Why do some homes? So, what that does is it creates contrast, us and them, right? It's something familiar. Everybody knows that some homes sell so fast and others don't. We all know that. So there's no like complexity to the message. Yeah, I understand that. I know that. I've thought that. Takes 6 months to sell while others sell in a day. Urgency, urgency. Everybody, nobody wants to sell in 6 months. They want to sell today. They don't want their house sitting on the market forever. It's so exhausting. You guys know it's exhausting, right? There's a lot of power in this hook, and you're going to learn a lot more about hooks as you develop and use the prompt that we are going to be giving to you very soon. Okay, so next part is the closing. So the reason why we're going to the closing next instead of the body or the middle is because the closing will really help dictate what is said in the middle. So that's why we're going to closing next, even though it's like, wait a second, that's the end, right? Okay, follow me. So you're going to summarize the video. You have only one call to action. This is a mistake I've made, guys, by the way. I want them to do multiple things, and so I would have multiple call to actions. It would overwhelm them and get them confused. No, one video, one central focused call to action. That's where you lead them. Okay? And it's relevant to what you're trying to accomplish, aka getting the listing. Don't make a call to action that has nothing to do with the point of the video. That's also confusing and obviously won't resonate. They watched a video about this and then you told them to go do something completely different. That doesn't make sense, right? So I'm going to give you an example of like a closing. Here's a weak one that's pretty common. If you want to talk about selling your home, contact me. Who's either done that or seen that? Come on, raise those hands. I know you guys see it. If you want this, just contact me. Okay, you can do that, and that is a call to action, but it's very weak. It's not compelling, it's super generic. But how about something that's strong, like comment below and I'll send you my free guide, Sell Your Home in 30 Days or Less. Instant reward, relevant to their wants and needs, directly relevant to the hook that we talked about right at the beginning. You guys see the difference? I'm just showing you contrasts right away. We're going to get a lot more into this, as especially as you get involved with Nick and the stuff he does. It's amazing. All right. So now we'll get into the body. Now that you know the ending of the video, you can focus on the body, the middle on how you actually make that promise happen, right? Remember the end of the video, the call to action is sell your home in 30 days or less, right? Get my guidebook. Okay. Well, you need to prove that you're an expert in that, right? I could be like, hey, Chris, you should go and do the call to action, and I'll give you a free pass to the White House. And you're going to be like, well, can you even make that promise happen? How are you going to make that promise happen? Right? We're very skeptical of people when they make promises. And everybody says they have access or can do all these things. Every agent says that they can sell the house the best. Every single one of them. Even ones who suck at real estate still will say that they're great at it. It's wild, right? So you have to prove in the body very efficiently, very effectively, that you can actually accomplish this goal, this promise. Sell your house in 30 days or less. Okay? So I want you guys to write in the chat, because I'm curious, a little exercise here. Write in the chat one or more ways you would personally go about helping a home to sell in 30 days or less. Just one way. And I'll give you an example, right? Let me help you out. Example, marketing. Maybe you're going to do content and make a video. Maybe exposure, MLS, paid ads, newsletter, open houses, right? I'm doing it all for you, right? How would you go? I knew it. I did. I purposely left out pricing because I wanted to see. I love it. You guys are on with pricing. This is awesome, by the way. You see this, Nick? Look at them all coming in here. Pricing it correctly. Content, staging. There we go. Trina brought in staging. Declutter. Very good. Fresh paint. Pre-inspection. Strategic target marketing. Yep. Barbara, look at you coming in all fancy. I'm gonna hyper focus. I love it. Pricing and paid ads. There we go. Sunny pricing it low or $1. I mean, that would probably get it sold in 30 days or less. I mean, everybody probably thinking it's an auction. I love it. This is awesome. This is awesome. So, yeah, you already dropped into the chat what you would do. And so, what's cool about what you just did is you're already writing your script and you don't even know it. And we're going to show you how to make a prompt, put it all together to where it makes sense. It's fast, efficient because you have the knowledge. You guys already understood this. If you don't even realize it, you already said, almost all of you said, I need a good hook. Okay. I need a strong call to action. And now you just proved in the middle that you have some semblance, some idea of how to deliver on those. So you guys have what it takes to achieve this. You just need the tool, the script, the prompt, the resource that ties it all together and makes it work. So for you, Nick, what's your secret for writing a great hook for a video?
Yeah, I just try to think of what's a bold or somewhat controversial statement or question that I can ask, you know? So I mean, obviously, question if you're kind of answering a question with a video, or a statement that, you know, might contradict what people are used to hearing and create some curiosity. But again, around, you know, the specific topic. So like obviously that question you showed was a great example of that. But I think, yeah, I mean that's why, you know, sometimes if you're not sure on the hook, you almost want to go through and maybe do the rest first, and then come back to it, or write the hook and then, you know, look at the rest of the script you came up with and kind of go, you know, and just put yourself in the viewer's shoes, you know, and think of it as a stranger, right? So like a stranger who's seeing you for the first time, never heard of you before, so they don't have any sort of built-in,
Mm-hmm.
you know, affinity or biases towards you. And would whatever you say create curiosity around the topic you're actually talking about, right? And I think that's you know, it's easier to do once you kind of have the script in front of you and you can assess a little bit. But yeah, I think if you're, you know, props, you know, things you do at the beginning of the video, like those can all help a lot too. In fact, I try to, you know, hold something in my hands of any kind at the beginning. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the video. It's just sort of there to grab their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, you know, the statement or the question, that those are the two kind of rubrics that I tend to follow.
I love that. And it's really cool that you brought up basically reverse engineering. Listen,
Hmm.
if you don't have, sometimes I'll have a great hook idea and I'm like, dude, this hook is so solid. I'm going to build around it. Sometimes I'm like, I know where I want the end result to be. I want them to download my guidebook, attend a training. I want them to finish this script, do something. And so I might start with the call to action for those of you struggling with hooks, which hooks, guys, it is a skill. ChatGPT will help you a lot, but you often will need to still teach ChatGPT about your audience. You really will. It'll learn well, but you still need to be the teacher. And so, like, sometimes I will just start with the call to action. And you might need to do that too. What do I want them to accomplish at the end of the video? What do I want them to do? And then you do start with that, and then you take a step back and you say, okay, how am I going to help them to accomplish that? And remember, that's the middle, that's the body. And then you go, okay, now how do I hook them? How do I basically make this such an engaging, curious thing? And again, ChatGPT is going to be an amazing resource for you on helping to accomplish this. All right, let's move on. We're almost there. Step three, what type of listing? So this is important to identify. So we're learning about what a good script is, different ways to go about crafting that script. And again, the prompt's coming. Don't you worry. I just don't want you being distracted yet. I want you to understand before you execute. Otherwise, you're going to run into a lot of roadblocks, give up, get discouraged. Like many of you have said before, I did the video and it didn't work. Let me teach you to understand what that means, and then I'm going to give you the tool and resource. So, what kind of listings do you want? Very simple. For sale by owner, expired, luxury, land, something else, right? You need to know your target audience because these are seller focused videos. So, the content, this will help you with your call to action, the body, and the hook because it's relevant to that audience. You're not trying to reach everyone, but rather a very specific demographic. Okay. So I want you to type in the chat which one you want to target to get. Which type of listing do you want? Again, for sale by owner, expired, luxury, land, something else. Drop it in the chat. Carrie, luxury. Andrea, expireds. Kathy, for sale by owner. Love the variety already. I honestly thought everybody would just say luxury. I honestly straight up thought everyone would be like, just luxury all day long. I love this. Look at this. This is awesome. Rosa said veterans. Laron, good to see you here, brother. Luxury $1 million homes for sale by owners. A rule on horse properties. Yeah, that's right, Trina. I remember you do that. Super good. Super good. Michelle Farm. Ooh, I like it. Danielle Lakefront. This is awesome. I love that you guys are really focused like this. This is super cool. All right, so um, Nick, I'm curious now. Is there a particular demographic that you've seen respond better to video?
No, I mean that's the thing about video. It's literally just a new form of communication, and I think everybody there's going to be differences in the way people consume it, right? So
Of
like,
course.
different audiences, excuse
Where,
me.
how, those
Yeah,
type of
they're going
things.
to be on different platforms at different times, things like that. But no, I mean, the reality is, especially with videos that you're in, there might be some more creative outside the box, stuff that's not human based that might be a little bit more appealing to certain demographics. But if there's a person on camera, it's really going to come down to just are you as a demographic connecting with that person, right? And that can have something to do with how you look. It can have something to do with how you sound, but a lot of it's going to be about what you're talking about and how you're kind of carrying and presenting yourself. So no, I mean, realistically, at this point, I mean, maybe 10 years ago, some of the older demographics, they were watching TV, they weren't really on social, but now pretty much everybody is, and everybody loves
Seriously, it's
video.
wild.
Yeah, there's not really one demographic that doesn't like seeing videos of other
I
people.
mean, I know people who can barely unlock their phone, but they do still, and I don't mean that in a rude way. I mean that respectfully. They can barely
Sure.
unlock their phone, but when they do, guess what they do? They watch videos. They
Hmm.
absolutely. So it's like it's actually pretty wild that this has been a universally adopted way to consume something. Like when the TV came in and then everybody had TV, right? Yes, Chris, I'm definitely talking about you. All right, so step four. This is kind of a bonus step, by the way. This is a little bit more intricate. We'll help you out here, but this is like a bonus. If you can integrate this into your video, oh my gosh, it's going to be awesome. Okay, so now that you know the type of listing you want, you need to know who is the homeowner behind it. And again, this is not always straightforward, but you will learn. You will learn things as you do this. And so that's why we're bringing it up. So that's kind of like bonus step four. Are they doctors, lawyers, farmers, right? Who are they? Because that can be integrated into your hook, your body, and your CTA, right? Your call to action at the end, but also it can help dictate where the video goes. Okay. If you understand who these people are, whether it's ages, whether it's, right, are they more likely to be on LinkedIn? If they're more likely to be on LinkedIn, then you need to go to LinkedIn to reach them. Part of why I'm on Facebook is not because I like Facebook. I'm on Facebook because my target audience is generally here. I didn't choose it, it just is, right? So don't worry if you don't know, by the way. We will help you identify them with the prompt. Okay, we will. And also, just as you do this, you will just learn. You will just learn over time where they are, how to talk to them, all these things. So, who is ready for the script prompt that gets listings? Who wants to see it? Andrew's already partying. Chris is partying. There we go. Come on now. Type script so we know you're still paying attention and haven't fallen asleep or are otherwise distracted. And then I'm going to have Misa drop it in the chat. Misa, hopefully you got my message earlier. I forgot to tell you where to get the prompt. So hopefully you got my message. If not, I could drop it. But go ahead, Misa, drop the prompt link in the chat to that prompt Google chat or Google Doc. I put it in a nice Google Doc for you guys. I made it super, super clean. And let me double check to make sure I actually sent that to Misa. I do so much that sometimes I forget to tell Misa, and she's like, "I'm happy to do it, but you didn't even tell me where it is." And I'm like, "Oh, all right, there we go. All of you should see this. It's in the chat right there. There, look at all this. Look at all those people coming in. Great. I just want to make sure everybody knew exactly what they're looking for. So now you have the prompt, and we're gonna get into an exercise. But real quick, I'm curious, Nick. How did you even come up with this prompt? Was it just kind of experimentation?
The training, experimentation. I mean, there are lots of courses now on prompt engineering.
There's
Probably,
jobs,
well, right. I mean, it's
total
yeah,
careers
it's
now.
I think prompt engineering of any skill you can learn right now is probably one of the most important.
Yeah.
What I will say is like I build my own AI tools, so I've been kind of building things like a neighborhood matchmaker. It's an AI powered tool, helps
I
people
can't
find
wait to
their
do a
ideal.
training on that, guys. You don't
Yeah,
even know.
we're gonna talk about that at some point, but doing that, that part of what is so important about the back end of those tools is they all have a very detailed prompt, right? Because I mean, each time you start a new conversation with AI, you're basically starting with like, a high level expert on potentially anything, right? Because it's sort of trained on all of human knowledge for many years. And so that's great, but that's also like super broad. And the more narrow you can kind of get that knowledge to function, and the more, it helps to also understand like what a large language model is and
Mm,
does,
yeah.
which we won't get too much into, but basically it's sort of a probability machine. So it's not actually thinking and talking to you. It's looking at the words you gave it, and it's doing some calculations and saying, well, based on those words, I think I should respond with these words. And so,
Yep.
the more specific you are, like for example, if you just ask it to write a script, a lot of times it's going to give you like shot directions, like the opening scene, walk in from the
Yep.
right side, because it was trained on a lot of TV and movie scripts, and they have that kind of stuff in them. So if you explain, no, I want this to be short form, I want it to be for social media, certain platform. It's also where, the exercise you're just doing with helping people understand who your ideal customer is. It's why that's so important, right? Because the average real estate agent can go to ChatGPT and say, write me a script about selling your house in less than 30 days, right? And you're going to get a bunch of scripts that all sound and look pretty similar. But if you go in and you're more specific and you give it some details about that ideal customer, it will then cater it to that person, and then your scripts will stand out from everybody else's, right? So
Love
that's
it.
like kind of getting outside of the question there, but it's a
No,
lot
no,
of
no. You're
trial and
you're
error for
you're spot
sure, just a
on.
lot of
You,
practice.
yeah, you understood like the need to go deep, and
Hmm.
from that, like you develop prompts, like and you understand deeper how to talk, right?
Right.
So guys, now you know the three essential items a good script has to have: hook, body, closing. What type of listing you want? You already put it in the chat, and what type of homeowners. And again, if you don't have that, we're going to help you. And now you've got the prompt to bring it all together. And yes, Joshua, these are shorts. These are short style videos. A lot of the principles are relevant to any content that you make. Um, Realistically, like I mean, honestly, a lot of these things I use in my newsletters, I use in my long form videos. But definitely short form is the intent today. The focus today is more short form videos. So now, guys, we're gonna do our breakout rooms real quick, and you're gonna go do the prompt. You did all the setup work. Now you're gonna go use it. Again, you already know what you need to know. So go to ChatGPT, sign up for free. Looks like some of you already got an account there, so great, easy. So you're gonna open that up. You're going to use the prompt that we gave you in the chat. So make sure before you go into your breakout room, you have that Google Doc open. Then, after you do the prompt, don't start tweaking, don't start changing it. And here's why. One, I want to make sure you get through the prompt and just get it done. Okay. Joshua, I don't know. I haven't even used the Epic AI. You might be able to. I use ChatGPT all the time, so I didn't even think about going to a. So that'd be curious. Let me know if you use it, Joshua. I'd be curious. Um, so read the script out loud. And the point of reading it out loud to your partner that's going to be in the room with you is you need to know how it sounds. If it sounds weird, if it sounds clunky, right? Give each other some honest feedback. That's why I want you to go right away. Okay? And write the prompt, right? And then if you have time, which we probably won't because we had lots that we got into, but if you have time, you can make some adjustments, make it sound natural, more like you. But the important part is don't add too many extra words. That's a mistake I've always made. Is then I'm like, well, I wanted to mention this and this and this, and then all of a sudden, it's a freaking 10-minute video and it's long form content now. And that wasn't the goal, right? That wasn't the goal. The goal was a very short, concise video that hooks, makes a promise, and delivers on that promise, right? Or tells them how to get the delivery of that promise. Okay? So do me a favor because I have to make the breakout rooms manually because some of you are not always able to jump into a breakout room. Type yes in the chat if you are ready to do your breakout room together. And I'm going to just start adding you guys um, manually. So I'm going to say your names out loud and we're going to sign you. Oh, look at all these yeses. I love it, guys. You guys rock. All right, starting with Barbara and Laura. There we go. I'm going to say everybody's names. I can't assign you as you go. So, like, you'll get the invitation after I've got everybody. So, if you're like, I didn't get the invitation, don't worry. All right, next, the Ron and Bonnie. And let's see. And if you don't hear your name after I'm done, don't worry. I'll do a last call. Rosa and Trina. Carrie and Khadijah. Hopefully, I said that right. Lisa, I am not sure your question. How do you get out of here without leaving the chat? Do you mean you just don't want to go into a breakout room? You want to stay with us? Yeah, you're good. Yeah. If you don't say yes in the chat, I'm not gonna force you to go into a breakout room. Don't worry. I got you. You can stay and chill with Nick and I as we're gonna talk about a couple other things while people in the breakout room. So you're good. All right. Desiree would like to do one. Oh, to get to Chat GPT. I'll help you in a second, Lisa. All right, Desiree, and let's see. Did I miss anybody else? We need one more. One more for Desiree. Come on, come on. We got a lot of you guys in here. Who else is going to jump into a break room? If not, Desiree, you can hang out with us, and we'll do it with you live. It'll be fun. All right, guys. I'm going to send the invitations. Uh, I said about Joshua. Let me throw you in a one with Desiree. Actually, you're going to love her. And Desiree, you're going to love Joshua. All right. Invitations going out right now for the rooms. We're probably going to do 5 minutes, not 10 minutes, guys. So, yeah, just be very prompt with your prompt. All right. Invitations are out there. Go get them. Go get them, Tiger. We got a pretty big crowd staying with us today. I love it. And again, if you guys still wanted to do a breakout room while they're going in, oh, they're all in. Okay. All right. Well, they're hanging out with us now, Nick. So that'll be fun. So Nick, I wanted to talk briefly about some of the things, the best practices that you've seen right? When people are making scripts. So we talked briefly kind of about hooks. So what are some
Hmm.
other best practices that you've seen when people are using, particularly ChatGPT, because that's our focus AI today? Like, what are some things that are just really good to implement when they're making these scripts?
Well, I think the first thing you got to do is try to rewrite the script in your own voice to some degree. You can, so if you want to skip that step, the way you can do that is if you have some scripts that you've written,
Mm,
or if you want to maybe take a couple that you like that you kind of rewrite into your own voice, your mannerisms and the way that you talk. If you give those examples to ChatGPT, it will try at least. It doesn't always do a great job. That's why I always recommend still reviewing it, but it will try to write kind of the same way you do. So that's one thing you can try. If not, obviously just looking it over. I'm also typically, you can tell it how long you want the script to be. Excuse me, but I'm also going to be looking to try to cut it down. Because I want the scripts, especially the short form stuff, I want to be basically as short as I can possibly be, because it's almost always going to be more wordy than
mm,
necessary unless you've really,
yeah,
really carefully trained it and kind of dialed it in. And the reality is, the one more thing I'll say is like, don't worry about getting it perfect. You're not going to get it
yeah,
perfect. It's not
that's a
like
big one.
I hate this idea of like I'm gonna write the perfect script and make the perfect video and I'll put it out once and then I'm gonna get business.
Guilty.
Yeah, right. And we all want that. We'd all love to sort of have the one video that gets 10,000 views and gets us 10 clients overnight. But it's not human nature to behave that way, right? I mean, we don't like to, even if you find an influencer you really like you're not going to watch one video and then hire them. Like that's, you don't know them yet, right? So I always try to look at video as just basically networking. So think of each of the videos you make as just part of an ongoing networking conversation that you're having. And I think that makes each individual video less important, right? So
Hmm.
don't look at it as I got to get it perfect, oh, every word's got to be just right. It's not true. Mostly what you're doing when you put your video out is again just reminding people you exist, getting a few seconds of FaceTime with them to kind of keep yourself top of mind. And then make the next
Let me
one.
pause you there, dude. That's such a good one. Also, let me answer Lisa's question real quick. All
Mhm.
right, so Lisa, for the prompt, we sent the Google Doc for the prompt. You'll take that prompt, it'll say right there, prompt. You'll copy and paste that into your Chat GPT chat, and then it'll generate and you'll start that. Got you. All right, so now what you were saying, Nick,
Mhm.
the expectation of a video is so important. I think that is such a big deal. Like, set realistic expectations. We should be
Yeah.
extremely good at that because we're agents and we know that it takes a lot of work to produce one deal. So, but we
Right.
we still forget that when it comes to content. Well, listen, I posted my closing video or my closing picture with them holding the key or the house and nobody ever likes it and nobody ever comments. And it's like, okay, well, you got to set realistic expectations. One, there's nothing compelling or unique about it. That's just the truth. It's a harsh reality. Everybody posts the closing pictures. They all look the same, guys. They all look the same. And then two is that people don't make decisions based off of those. They make decisions after a series of consistent things delivered to them that warm them up, okay? Warm them up to finally make that decision. I believe it's a 10 follow-ups is like the statistical average of what it takes before someone is comfortable making a decision. 10 follow-ups, 10 things that lead them down a path to where they're finally at a point in their life to where they can go, okay, I can make a decision now. And that's why you typically don't lead with a really big ask. You don't go, Nick, book an appointment with me right now to come to your house and sell it. You typically won't ever do that. You give them the guidebook because you're building trust, right? So I think those expectations are really a big deal, and I'm glad you said that. You're just trying to build trust. You're just trying to say, "Listen, I'm your ally. Let me prove it to you."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's just relationships, right? I mean, I think that's it's always struck me, I took a long time to get on social media. Like I was in kind of the perfect age range. Like I was a senior in high school when Facebook came out and so my girlfriend who was a freshman in college, like she was one of the first users. And when I got to college and I could access it, I resisted for years. I didn't want to join. So I, should have kind of dove in from the beginning and didn't. And as I got to experience it more, it just sort of gradually dawned on me. I'm like, well, this is the same. Like, I know why I didn't want to do it. I'm an introvert, so it was never something I was like. I just don't like being, exposed in public to lots of people. But I started to realize, like, wait, this is no different than networking. This is no different than going out, meeting new people, shaking hands for the first time, finding something in common to chat about, right? Like that's what you do when you maybe you express, oh, here I do this, you do that. Might be a little bit of a conversation on your what you do for a living. But if you're going to hit it off with somebody, you typically find something else, right? You're both big fans of the local sports team, or you're, big fans of, I don't know, restaurants, and you're talking about your favorite restaurants or something. And I think, you can certainly be talking a lot about real estate in your videos, but you got to remember that that's what's happening, right? It's just people are seeing this stuff. They're not seeing your video going, "Ooh, should I hire this person?" Like it's just mixed into all the other stuff they're seeing, right? So they're seeing it, they're
Right.
giving it 5, 10 seconds, whatever it is they give it. And if you think that that's gonna mean that they're gonna immediately try to hire you, they're not gonna, right? Like why would they? So if you can reframe that and you can think of it more as, hey, this is just one of many interactions I'm going to have with this person over
Yes.
time, that's what's going to lead to the sales. And so that idea of like, anybody ever tells me like I put a video out and I didn't get anything, I'm always like, well, how many videos have you put out?
Yeah.
How do you know? Do,
Chris, does this
do
sound
people
familiar
tell
when
you?
it comes to like some of the lead gen strategies? Well, I posted one marketplace video and I didn't get any leads. Great. We said 50. Are you at
Yeah.
50 yet? If you're
Yep.
not, you can't like you're not at the base to where we even know if you did something right or wrong, right? Like we don't
Right.
even know how to improve yet because you haven't done enough, right? Okay, everybody's starting to come back by the way. Andrea, save your question. We're going to do Q&A in just a minute because I want to get to it. And then Helen, you had a great comment as well. We're going to be answering those. We will do a Q&A in just a second. Welcome back, everybody. Super glad you guys are here. So drop in the chat how'd it go. Seriously, how'd it go? The good, the bad? How'd it go? I want to know. I want to know. Drop it in the chat. I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of you guys for going and using these prompts, for getting in there like that, for trying something new. I know, Bonnie. We probably did need more time. The good news is you got the prompt now. We give it away. It's yours, right? Whoa, wow. Did we crash ChatGPT? It sounds like a few of you had some. We crashed ChatGPT. I'll take that as a compliment. Well, that's why we give so much away free for you guys. So you have it. Like you guys know, we over deliver. So you have the prompt. Definitely go use it. Um, and I don't put anything out there that I don't personally test and use myself. Even when I bring in guests and they're bringing a new idea, I go and use it myself because I do the vetting for you. Because remember, relationship and trust. You guys need to know that you can trust me. So I love it. All right. So, real quick, let's give some appreciation to our amazing guest, Nick. Just drop in the chat one like inspiring, interesting, new thing that you've learned from this call today. Make them feel good. Also, it helps with my screenshots where I can share people that we deliver, right? We help others. Um, Lisa, we got you. I'll send you everything. That's why we put it in the recap newsletters and everything too. If anything's missing, so guys, give me one inspiring or interesting or new thing that you learned today. Maybe just something that you were even reminded of that you're like, oh man, I kind of forgot about that, or oh, I didn't even think of it that way. Chris uses ChatGPT. That is surprising. That is a new thing to learn. You wouldn't think. The run. First 3 to 9 seconds are that important. I always focused on the first 60 to 90 seconds. Yeah, so that's like stage two, right? So stage one is the first to 7 to 9 seconds, really, right? And then stage two is the next minute. So even like Mr. Beast says, right? I gotta hook them first. Then I gotta hook them for a full minute after that initial hook. And if I do that, I've built enough trust, enough interest, and they'll statistically pretty much stay until the end. Like he talks about it. He even says the majority of his budget is often spent on the first part of the video, including editing, because he knows that is the highest ROI. So I love it. Desiree, this call helped me look at the process differently. I need to simplify my approach. Oh my gosh. We all need to typically simplify how we do things. Seriously. Andrea, that I needed a hook. Hey, girl, I'm glad you got that, man. Like, hooks are so important. For so long, I was the agent who was like, hey, everybody, it's Robert Bean here, your local real estate. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Biggest garbage lie that I was sold. But I was sold that lie, not intentionally. They weren't malicious, but it was from agents who don't know anything about video, had already successful businesses. And so they just assumed that everything they did worked because they had steady business. When in reality, they just had business from other sources and then they did a video and then they're like, well, I still have business, so my videos must work. So that's why like we get real specific on who we get in here, right? I love it. Okay, guys. So the assignment for the week is you're going to go record the video. Okay. For those of you who struggled, maybe ChatGPT had issues, maybe you didn't have enough time, don't worry. That's why we give you the prompt. You can go do the work, but you have everything. You have the phone, you have the target, you have the script slash the prompt. You're going to go post it on all your platforms. Here's why I want you to post it on all your platforms. Let's see what works. Let's see if there happens to be a platform that resonates. My guess is that most of you don't really know where your audience is currently. So instead of you trying to be a data analyst, right? I don't want you to do that. Simplify the process. Just go post it everywhere. See kind of what happens. You're going to learn. And then as a bonus, I want you to DM it to anyone who fits your ideal audience. I want you to send it directly to them. Hey, Nick, I did this video about this specific topic, and I know this is relevant to you, so I wanted to share it with you. Okay. It's a big deal, right? And then repeat this process for every lead type. You can do this again and again and again. You can do it for the same lead type in 20 different ways. Okay. And then if you really want to get wild, Nick is going to have a challenge coming up that you can get involved in, but posting a video a day for a week just to form a habit, just to break the nervous barrier of like, I can't put myself out there. Okay. All right. So now, you know what? Let's jump into. I want to have a couple minutes for the Q&A. So, guys, I'm going to skip right ahead. In the newsletter, we're going to put Nick generously is giving you a content calendar with 48 unique seller-focused video ideas, so you never run out of what to say. That's super exciting. A guide to creating value-driven resources. So this is going to come from me. If you don't know what to put in a CTA and need some extra help on like resources and stuff, I'm gonna hook you up with that. An example video. Nick was generous and sent us an example video that a lot of agents have had success with. So now you can see what a kind of a finished product looks like. Super helpful, right? And then, of course, the replay, the slides, and why most agents' videos go nowhere and how to make sure yours gets results. So, Misa probably already dropped it in the chat. Subscribe to the newsletter. You guys know it's free. Now it's over 700 subscribers. We're getting quite a few. But yeah. All right. Now let's do some questions. Okay. Barbara, who is the newsletter coming from? The Agent Alliance. That is who it'll be coming from. Got you. The Agent Alliance. Drop those questions for Nick in the chat. Nick, I understand you might have a hard cutoff. Don't worry. But if you do have a couple minutes, feel free to stick around. Up to you.
Yeah, we can answer some questions. Sure.
Sweet. All right, guys, do me a favor. Andrea, yes, go ahead. I'll unmute you if you want to ask it. So go ahead and ask it for Nick.
Okay, just a quick question. So I put together like a relisting strategy, and then in my script, it was like DM me for my relisting strategy. I don't just want to give it to them. So, but I don't know how to like change it to engage versus me just having that script and just sending them a piece of paper with what I'm going to do when I relist it. Is there any ideas for that?
So you're in the script, it said to DM you to receive the guide. Do you have a digital version of it you can message to them or?
Oh, I have to unmute you each time. Sorry,
Oh.
Andrea.
No, it's okay. So I don't because I was thinking that I would kind of like meet with them and talk through it. So,
hmm
but so I don't have like a teaser guide. Well, maybe that's what I should do.
Yeah, so what I always recommend, my personal preference is to ask people to comment rather than DM you, because that plays the algorithm. Because
Yep.
every comment your post gets, it's going to show the post to more people, right? So what I'll typically do is I'll say, look, I've got this guide. Comment below if you want me to, if you want a copy of it, and then I'll respond to the comment. I'll say, hey, great, thanks so much. I'm going to send you a message with the guide. Obviously, it's virtual in that case. Now, you then message them and you can either send it to them if you have a virtual copy, and anything you have physically, you just take a picture with your phone even and send them that, right? Like there's easy ways to make it digital. You could also go a step further and say, "Hey, I'm going to send this to you, but can you give me your email and phone number so I can share it with you?" Right? So if you that's up to you. If you want the contact information, that's how you can get it.
Right, you can get fancy, do an opt-in where they could have an
Right, you could have
opt-in
a
page
landing page you
too.
send them to, stuff like that. So I like the comment that leads to a message, and then I also even in my response in the comments, I'll try to tell them like, hey, when you see my message, can you come back here and reply so I know you got it? And that leads to a third comment, right? And so the idea is I'm just like Facebook in particular, but a lot of these platforms, their algorithms haven't changed much in years, so they're not that hard to game. It's annoying. It's why you see all the posts in the Facebook groups that are like, "Hey, I've got this strategy. Look in the comments," right? Because they want people commenting because that's the number one signal basically that the platform looks for. So that's kind of a long answer, but if you can get comments, you can then message them. You can ask for contact information if you want it, and then send them the digital version. And then you convert the lead by following up on it, right? So a couple days later, another message, "Hey, what did you read the guide? What did you think? What kind of questions do you
Yes.
have?" Like, just keep the conversation going. And then at some point there, you go, "Hey, this is great. Can we get on a call sometime? Hey, this is great. Can we get together and I can, help you more if we can just get face to face?" I think you're going to get a lot more conversation started that way than if you sort of j jump immediately. So it's what Robert was saying earlier, right? Like the more small steps you can give people rather than just asking for a large commitment, like, a meeting is a big deal, right? It's like it's a big commitment for folks. Any smaller steps you can give along the way tend to make it more likely they'll say yes.
Yes. And so I'm going to answer this question, Andrea, and I was going to actually bring this up anyways, which is, so should I give them my plan up front? I want to address this fear that so many of us have, which is I have to protect everything, hide everything, and until they sign on the dotted line, then I reveal. None of you live life that way, though. You would hate to be treated that way. You would hate to have to pay and just blindly accept. You're way too skeptical. You've been burned too many times. You know there's a bunch of liars out there. So you want trust first and you want proof first. Now the thing is that most people don't ask for the world. They just ask for enough to help them make a decision. So Andrew, in your case, we did this short form video and it's talking about seller focus and how to sell your home in 30 days or less. Great. And drop in the comments, right? If you want my guide. Awesome. I'm going to send the guide. The guide is not going to be 50 pages long of my detailed outline. First of all, you'll lose them. And actually, that will be negative. That'll be too much information. They'll get burned out and they'll be like, wow, Andrea is overwhelming. Subconsciously, they will feel that. Andrea is overwhelming. So here's what you do. Instead, you do a 1 or 2 page guide. Use a Canva template, by the way, to make it look nice. 1 or 2 page guide. And all you do is you basically take the script that you did in the video and you just expand on it a little more. That's it. It's not every detail, it's not every platform. Remember, they don't care how you do it. Meaning, if I turn around and I'm gonna go into Facebook groups and do X, Y, and Z, they don't care about the name of the groups. They don't even really care that it's a Facebook groups. What they really care is the results. So you can turn around and summarize your actual plan for them. I'm going to use social media to do this result, to produce this result, to reach X amount of people. Remember what they actually care about: the most amount of money with the least amount of time, in the least amount of time. So just focus on those, right? Steve Jobs, one of the best things, I had a buddy who actually helped develop iTunes. He was one of the founders of iTunes, the lead developers of iTunes. And he said he used to think that Steve Jobs was a total jerk because Steve Jobs would come into the department and he would go, "All right, guys, what's the status on iTunes?" And then you go, "Well, we just did this coding." And he would just say, "Stop talking." He would say, "Stop talking. I only need to know what the status is that's relevant to me. I am not a developer." That's what he would say. So you have to understand, talk to your audience as they are about what they care about. They don't need your full plan. And in fact, they don't want it. They don't want your full plan. So I hope that resonates with you guys. Let's get some more questions. Okay. Lisa, stay safe in the storms. We got some storms coming in Tennessee too. Um, yeah, Lisa, exactly. Use ChatGPT to help you expand your guide. I'm telling you, like once you've just fed it all the information that you're teaching it, then you start to ask it to do some additional things. Remember, I'm going to send a resource in the newsletter for you as well on kind of how to create these CTAs and some ideas on the actual resource itself. Okay. Um, I know some of you guys got to run. Thank you so much, Helen. I don't know if you're still here, but you had a great question that I wanted to bring up. And then Trina also asked about editing tips. These are great, guys. I'm trying to find that question from Helen. Where did it go? This is the only problem. Our chats are so active and everybody participates so much that like I'm scrolling forever. Okay. Helen says I work on the lending side of the business, and that is the hardest part of breaking off of what everyone else is doing is building trust and crucial relationships. So I feel like you kind of touched on this, Nick. But can you
Hmm.
just really quickly again just share like how you can take these videos and be actually unique even amongst other people doing videos?
Well, first and foremost, your videos are already unique because they're videos of you, like, and that's kind of full stop, but the only thing you ever need to remember, right? Because I mean, we have like in our school, we have scripts. People use the same scripts, right? Somebody may have seen two different agents saying word for word the exact same thing, and I guarantee you they never once thought, I've seen this video before. Because that's not how we recognize things, right? Like our
Mm,
brains don't dissect the individual words and go, "Oh, I think I've heard these words said out loud before." They look at the face, they look at the voice, right? Like the things we identify are faces, they're unique, and so are voices, right? So you can recognize a voice, recognize a face. That's really it, right? So I think reality is, what you're saying matters in the sense that, you want people to feel they can trust you, right? You want people to respect you, you want people to like you. It's the know, like, trust, right? That kind of process. But the reality is that that happens automatically. It's called the familiarity principle. And it stems from hundreds of thousands of years of evolution where, at one point, we had to be able to recognize very quickly if we had seen someone before or not, because that was the only
mm-hmm.
thing our brain had time to process to decide if this person is a threat or an ally, right? And
Yeah.
so all our brains understand at a fundamental level is, have I seen this person before, and how often have I seen them? And if I've seen them a lot, I trust them automatically, which is, it's used to manipulate us. So it's worth keeping that in mind, right? Like who puts themselves in front of us all the time so that we automatically sort of have that affinity. But from a business perspective, that's what you're doing, right? So when you think about like this, adjust this strategy, does this work for me, all that kind of stuff. As long as you're talking about the things that matter to your ideal customer, which that's the part I think a lot of small businesses and real estate and every industry skip. They talk too generically. They don't cater their content to the kinds of people they want to attract. That's what makes you blend in. So as long as you're kind of catering things a little bit to the types of people you want, then it's gonna work. It's gonna work automatically. I think the place people mess it up is they try to make one or two or three videos, and these are the best videos, and they're gonna go viral, whatever. It doesn't work that way. It's never worked that way. I mean, Mr. Beast even will tell you. I think it's like I think he says you got to make 200 videos before you can expect any results. Not like before your first $1 million, like before you get any sort of result from YouTube, you have to put out that much content. And a lot of that's because people need to get to know you. They got to develop an affinity for you. So it's a long answer, but I think that's what's most important is just remembering like, I almost don't care what you make. You can think about the nuances once you're consistently making and sharing videos. And until then, you're just showing up. You're just continuing a
Yeah.
conversation a few seconds at a time. And then you'll have the business, right? You'll have these people that'll be saying things to you like, "Hey, I see you all the time," right? Like people don't call us and go, "Hey, I just watched your video. That's why I'm calling you." So you're going to notice it in more subtle
Yeah.
places, but you will start to notice it. People will recognize you in public. You'll start to have this sense that there's more people paying attention to what you're doing. They will start to reference the videos. Then you can start to worry about your strategy, right?
I
Then
mean,
you can
think
go, okay,
about like for everybody here, think about how I came out of nowhere in your life. Seriously, think about it. Where the heck did I come from? And now you are here. Many of you are here every week. What the heck? None of you, for the most part, have met me in person, but I have delivered week over week. And I'm just telling you a proof that it works. I've delivered week over week with value, trust, transparency, right? I'm going to keep my word. And so I just keep showing up and you see my face, you see my content, and you go, I know this guy. I know that he's going to take care of me. I'm going to show up. I'm going to open the newsletter. I'm going to attend the training. I'm going to put into practice what he teaches me, right? Because I've been steady. But it's actually taken me years, years to get to this place because I did it, quotation marks, wrong for so long. I made it about me, not you, right? I was inconsistent. And basically, when you're inconsistent, it almost doesn't count. Like, if you're inconsistent all that time, like agents are like, oh, well, I did it for a little bit. Well, if you don't stay consistent, it's gone. That gets erased. Why? Because our brains, we are constantly cycling through information, right? That's why you don't remember every meal that you eat. It's not relevant anymore. It's just not relevant anymore. The only thing you're going to remember that you do is the thing that you do consistently. I can tell you what I put in my smoothies. Do you know why? Because I have it every single day without missing it. But if you ask me what I had for dinner last night, I honestly don't remember. Okay, you guys follow me? Right? So, like, this is proof because you're here today because this works. You're here today because building relationships works, right? Don't worry so much about, especially the CTAs. So, Helen, you said, well, I kind of have this more generic information about my pre-approval checklist for people, right? For some of you, it might be my first-time homebuyer checklist. Don't worry about it being generic. It's not actually the information that they care most about. It's their trust in you. It's their trust in you. How many times have you guys gone to a doctor and you already knew what they were going to say, but you just needed to hear them say it, right? How many of you have kids and you have your pediatrician and you know the kid's fine, but you just got to hear the pediatrician say it too, right? And then you go, okay, 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 I'm not crazy. Well, that's what they're saying. They're saying, Andrea, Helen, I just need to know that I'm not crazy and that you're a good decision, that you're a good choice. I love it. Love it. You guys are awesome. All right. We are already 10 after. Nick, you are amazing. For anybody sticking on, Nick, why don't you share just real quick about your challenge coming up? Um, and we can put
Yeah,
that
well,
in the
so
newsletter too. I didn't mention that.
right, I know we don't have a ton of time left, but I'll do this. I'll put a phone number in the chat. This is our business line, and you can text us. So
Oh,
if you are
nice.
curious, like that, we have a couple different things we do. It just sort of depends on what you're most interested in. But I know there was some questions about editing and kind of how frustrating editing can be. And in particular, we are doing a challenge. We got one starting next week, and then one a couple weeks later, where we will do the editing for you. And I have a coupon I can send you if you'd like to sign up or consider signing up for one of those. So, well, I'll just kind of leave it at that. But if you're curious about making a bunch of proven, successful seller-focused videos and just having them done and ready to go, and you just take them and post them, don't have to worry about any editing or planning.
Yeah.
Just shoot me a text. Just say like, more info about the challenge, or we call them video sprints if you want to just say that, and then I'll
Oh, I
try to
like
get
it.
back to you sometime today with more details.
Sweet. So, guys, again, we'll be putting the replay, the slides, the 48 video ideas, content calendar. Well, I'll put the prompt in there again as well for reference. I mean, we'll pack that newsletter. It'll go out on Friday, because for some reason, real estate agents, you guys have Friday afternoon, and loan officers too. I don't know why. Well, I've tested so many different days and times, and for some reason, Friday afternoon. That's so weird to me. Like, I would have never thought,
Hmm.
right? This is the point, by the way. That's an example of testing and learning about your audience. Because I definitely thought you guys would be like a Thursday morning or a Tuesday morning at like 7 a.m. I've been wrong many times on that. So I appreciate you guys. Check out that newsletter. It's going to be loaded with stuff from Nick. Save his number too. He's a great resource. I've been following Nick for a while. I've been commenting on Nick's stuff for a while too. And we'll be doing some more training with Nick too because he's got the neighborhood matchmaker and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So cool. All right, guys, appreciate you. And yeah, let's go crush it. Thank you again, Nick. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep. Thanks for having me. A lot of fun. Talk to you later.
Bye, everybody. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye. There we go. Some people laughed. All right, Misa, let me